Could a global reset be the inevitable next step for our world? This is a question that's been swirling around in the collective consciousness of our society. At the heart of this question lies the concept of a global reset, an idea that's not as far-fetched as it may initially sound. Enter Klaus Schwab and Thierry Malleret, two minds who've delved deep into this idea in their book, The Greatest Reset. A global reset, as they propose, isn't just about a shift in power or a reorganization of global structures. It's about a holistic rethinking of how we, as a society, function. It's about reassessing our values, our goals, and the very fabric of our world. Shwab and Malleret aren't just spinning theories in a vacuum. Their ideas are deeply rooted in the realities of our current global situation. We are living in a time of unprecedented change. Technological advancements are redefining our lives at a dizzying pace. Climate change is forcing us to reconsider our relationship with the environment. Socio-political shifts are reshaping the world order. And let's not forget the global health crisis that has turned our lives upside down in ways we could never have imagined. In the face of all these upheavals, a global reset doesn't seem just plausible, it seems inevitable. As Schwab and Malleret argue, it's not about whether a reset will happen, but rather, when and how it will happen. The concept of a global reset challenges us to think beyond the confines of our current reality. It pushes us to envision a world that's not just a continuation of the present, but a radical departure from it. A world that's not just about surviving but thriving. A world where change is not feared, but embraced. Inevitability can be a daunting concept. But as we navigate through these tumultuous times, it's important to remember that change is not just a part of life, it's the essence of life. And in this ever-evolving world, a global reset might just be the change we need. With our world in constant flux, change is not just expected, it's inevitable. Imagine a world where economies are reimagined, not just repaired. Welcome to the second chapter of The Great Reset, where authors Klaus Schwab and Thierry Malleret explore the concept of a macro reset. The idea is profound, yet simple. It's not about patching up the cracks in our economic systems, but rather, completely overhauling them, starting from scratch, and building something new, something better. In the first chapter, they introduced a world on the brink of change, a world that can't continue on its current trajectory. Now, they delve deeper into the solution, a macro reset. This isn't about minor adjustments or slight corrections. A macro reset is a total transformation, a revolution in how we think about and run our economies. The authors argue that such a reset could have significant implications for global economies and the world at large. They suggest that this reset could lead to a more equitable distribution of wealth, a shift away from unsustainable practices, and a renewed focus on long-term stability over short-term gains. But what does a macro reset look like? It's about rethinking our priorities. It's about placing the well-being of the planet and its people at the heart of our economies. It's about understanding that economic growth and environmental sustainability are not mutually exclusive, but rather, they can and should go hand in hand. The authors also caution that a macro reset won't be easy. It will require a global effort, a unity of purpose, and a willingness to make tough decisions. It will require us to challenge the status quo, to question long-held beliefs, and to be open to new ideas and ways of doing things. In a world where change is the only constant, a macro reset is more than just a radical idea, it's a blueprint for the future. It's an opportunity to create a world that is not just economically prosperous but also socially equitable and environmentally sustainable. A macro reset is not just a possibility, it's a necessity. So let's start imagining and then, let's start acting. Because our world deserves nothing less. Now consider how a global reset could impact you personally. Delving into the second chapter of The Great Reset by Klaus Schwab and Thierry Malleret, we encounter the concept of a micro reset, a change that could ripple through our everyday lives, touching every individual in profound ways. A micro reset, in essence, is a recalibration of our day-to-day existence. It's not a giant sweeping reform on a governmental or societal level, but rather the subtle shifts that happen in the corners of our lives. It's the changes we see in how we live, how we work, and how we connect with others. Imagine a lifestyle shift where sustainability is not just a buzzword, but a core principle of our existence. It's a reality where we are more conscious of our consumption patterns, where we strive for a balance with nature rather than dominance over it. It's a world where we value experiences over possessions, where we seek quality over quantity. In terms of work, a micro reset could redefine our perceptions of productivity and success. Gone are the days when long hours at the office equated to dedication and hard work. In this new reality, efficiency could be measured by output rather than hours spent, and remote work could become the norm rather than the exception. Our work-life balance could actually become balanced. And then there are personal relationships. A micro reset here could mean nurturing deeper, more meaningful connections. It could mean valuing the quality of our interactions over the number of likes on a social media post. It could mean a return to authenticity, to genuine conversations, to real face-to-face or heart-to-heart connections. In essence, a micro reset is about a shift in values, a reevaluation of what we deem important in our lives. It's about understanding that the world is not a machine that we can endlessly exploit, but a complex, interconnected system that we are a part of. A micro reset would affect us all, in ways we may not yet fully understand. But how do we get from here to there? What is the path to reset? This question brings us to the crux of the third chapter of The Greatest Reset by Klaus Schwab and Thierry Malleret. In navigating the path to reset, one must first understand that the journey is not a linear one. It is a complex process, filled with twists and turns, and marked by a series of interconnected decisions. The task at hand is no small feat. It requires a global effort, a collective will, and a shared vision for a better future. The authors suggest that the path to reset is paved with both challenges and opportunities. On one hand, the road is fraught with obstacles. These range from economic to social, from political to environmental. We must grapple with the realities of income inequality, climate change, and geopolitical tensions, to name a few. On the other hand, the journey also presents tremendous opportunities. These opportunities lie in the potential for innovation, for reshaping our economies, and for reimagining our societies. They are found in the promise of emerging technologies, in the power of sustainable business practices, and in the potential for a more inclusive global order. The path to reset, as outlined by Shwab and Malleret, is not a one-size-fits-all solution. Instead, it is a roadmap with multiple routes, each leading to the same destination, a world that is more resilient, more equitable, and more sustainable. Each route requires its own unique set of strategies and tactics, but all share a common goal. The journey ahead may be daunting, but it is not insurmountable. The authors urge us to see the path to reset not as a burden, but as a beacon of hope. It is a call to action, a challenge to be embraced, and an opportunity to be seized. In the end, the path to reset is about more than just overcoming obstacles. It is about harnessing the power of human ingenuity, about embracing the potential for change, and about creating a future that is better than the world we know today. The path to reset is not easy, but it is necessary. And what happens after the reset? What does the future hold? We have journeyed through the inevitability of change, the macro and micro resets, and the path leading us to the reset. Now we find ourselves in the aftermath, standing in the wake of a monumental shift that has reshaped the world as we know it. The final chapter of The Greatest Reset by Klaus Schwab and Thierry Malleret takes us through this brave new world. The aftermath of a global reset is not a desolate wasteland, but rather a fertile ground for new possibilities. In the post-reset era, economies have been restructured, societies reorganized, and our everyday lives reshaped. This transformation is not something that has occurred overnight. It's a gradual process, a metamorphosis that unfolds over years, even decades. The consequences of such a monumental change are far-reaching. Economies once driven by traditional industries are now fueled by innovation and technology. Societies once divided by borders and ideologies are now more connected than ever thanks to the digital revolution. Our everyday lives, once dictated by routine and tradition, are now defined by flexibility and adaptability. The aftermath of a reset is not without its challenges. There are growing pains to be endured, uncertainties to be navigated, and conflicts to be resolved. But these are not insurmountable obstacles. They are opportunities for growth, for learning, and for innovation. The future that awaits us in the wake of a reset is not a dystopian nightmare, but a world of immense potential. It's a world where the old rules no longer apply, where the status quo is constantly challenged, and where the impossible becomes possible. In the aftermath of the reset, we may find a world that is unrecognizable, yet filled with new possibilities. It's a world that demands not just our adaptation but our active participation in shaping its future. And it's a world that offers us the chance to redefine what it means to live, to work, and to thrive in the 21st century. In the aftermath of the reset, we may find a world that is unrecognizable, yet filled with new possibilities.